PoE 2 doesn't need to kill PoE 1, doesn't want to kill PoE 1. The perfect scenario is a symbiosis between the two games and having a big core community for the two games. Guys, I have this video here from Sammy Caps. You guys know that I like Sammy's videos a lot. It is called Why PoE 2 Might Be the Best Thing to Happen to PoE 1. And I want to watch this video because PoE 1 players or Path of Exile in general, players that have been playing Path of Exile for a long time, generally think that Path of Exile 2 has been detrimental for the development of Path of Exile 1. And honestly, it is really hard to argue against that when you see that Path of Exile 1 Settlers League, they were stuck in the Settlers League for almost a year. So it is hard to argue against that, right? They are kind of right that Path of Exile 2 has stunned the development of Path of Exile 1. So I am curious about what Sammy is going to say in here. But I do have something that I am going to probably make a whole separate video about this. It is true that in the future, Path of Exile 2 is going to be good for Path of Exile 1, because once everything from Path of Exile 1 is ported to Path of Exile 2 in terms of microtransactions, Jonathan said that everything in Path of Exile 2 is going to get back ported to Path of Exile 1. Dude, over 60% of you are not subscribed. Why are you like this? Just click the sub button, my dude. It is quick, it is easy, it is free. You get content, I get a sub, win-win situation. Just click the sub button, my dude. So everything in PoE 2 is going to get back ported to PoE 1, and PoE 1 people are going to get what they wanted, which was PoE 1 but better. But that is in the future. That is still ethereal. We don't know when it's coming. So for now, I do want to see what the argument is here, right?
You know, it's funny. For the better part of a year, a sizable portion of the Path of Exile community has been sounding the alarm. Forums have lit up, Reddit burned red with outrage, and even the most patient players began to wonder, is this the beginning of the end of Path of Exile 1? Is Grinding Gear Games turning their backs on the...
I've heard this argument a bunch, by the way. Some people saying, no, PoE 1 is dead. They are using this as an excuse, and in the next 6 months, they are going to say, no, PoE 1 is dead because we need to develop everything for PoE 2. I don't think that is happening. I think they are committing to the 4-month cycle for each game, where we are going to get every 2 months a patch, right? Like PoE 1, PoE 2, PoE 1, PoE 2, they are committing to that, and that is going to be really good for us players and for them. They are going to earn a bunch of money doing that. So I don't think they are going to sunset Path of Exile 1 anytime soon. Will it ever happen? It can happen for sure, but I don't think it will happen anytime soon. But should they not just let PoE 1 die? How many players play in it? 3K, 10K? But it is because it doesn't have new content. I guarantee you that next week, when the patch drops, it is going to have over 200K people. Way more than 200K people. I guarantee you can write this shit, you can take it to the bank.
The game that got them here in the first place. And honestly, the concern wasn't baseless. GGG didn't exactly help their case. The early days of PoE 2's development were quiet, eerily so. Then came the delays, then came the news PoE 1 would go a full 10 months, almost an entire year.
Exactly what I was saying. It is hard to argue against that, dude.
Without a new league, a full content cycle without content. And when questioned, GGG was transparent. They had pulled every resource from PoE 1 to focus on delivering PoE 2's early access by December 6th. PoE 1 players understandably frustrated by this GGG decision. They felt abandoned. PoE 2 still not released and already under scrutiny.
Which, by the way, one of the reasons why so many things in Path of Exile 2 have been poorly received stem from that same frustration. Yes, I know that two things shouldn't be connected. You should treat every instance independently. But the Path of Exile player was frustrated, and then they feel forced to play Path of Exile 2, and then it fails to deliver in their eyes. The frustration compounds and it gets amplified, right? That is why we saw such a big deal, such a big hammering of the 0.2 patch, because they said we are not getting a PoE 1 league for this shit. That is the process in their mind, right?
Looked to be like a resource drain, a black hole of developer energy. This wasn't just about leagues, it was about identity, about loyalty, about legacy. And it was a slap in the face to the players who for over a decade supported Path of Exile 1 to only be thrown to the side like an unwanted friend. But here's the twist, the irony that no one saw coming, and the story that's about to unfold right now. What if PoE 2 doesn't kill PoE 1 like some people feel? What if it saves it? The Path of Exile player base is fiercely loyal, but also deeply analytical. We read between the patch notes, we dissect developer posts, and we see silence as its own form of communication. So when PoE 1 began to slow down, when league cycles became inconsistent, when updates came in whispers instead of roars, the community paid attention, and they reacted. Some cried betrayal, others mourned what they thought was a slow sunset. GGG, for their part, tried to manage expectations, but the optics were clear. PoE 2 was the new shiny thing. And
We have to be honest in here, guys. They are, in my opinion, they are not sunsetting Path of Exile 1 anytime soon, as I said. But let's also not kid ourselves in here. It is obvious that for GGG, the priority is Path of Exile 2, right? It is also obvious. Path of Exile 2 is the future, guys. That is the truth. We will see how things turn out. But for now, Path of Exile 2 is the future, and it is the new shiny thing, and they are focusing more on it. That is the truth. If that is the correct way to go or not, I don't know, but that is what is happening. Also, from a business standpoint, yes, it is the correct thing to do, because Path of Exile 2 had more players than Path of Exile 1 ever had. And for the paid beta, so they earned a bunch of money. From a business perspective, yes, it is the correct move to focus on Path of Exile 2. But also, not abandoning Path of Exile 1 is a good business perspective. Again, having the league for PoE 2 and PoE 1 go back and forth every 2 months, to me, that is great for business. You will have a big spike of money every 2 months, which is awesome for them. And for us, because if they earn money, they keep developing the game, right?
Path of Exile 1 looked like the old workhorse being sent to pasture. Now, combine that with the rocky start to PoE 2's early access, players who were once excited grew skeptical. Harsh difficulty, limited loot, inconsistent systems. The forums went from asking, when will PoE 2 arrive, to, is this what you sacrificed Path of Exile 1 for? But
those were exactly the words that I said earlier, dude. That is exactly what I said earlier, because yes, this is the process. This is the process.
Here's what people missed in the noise, in my humble opinion. While all eyes were locked on PoE 1's silence and PoE 2's struggle, something else was happening beneath the surface, something both subtle and brilliant. Grinding Gear Games wasn't just building a new game. They were building an infrastructure, a repository of new monsters, mechanics, assets, UI improvements, and more. The kind of tool...
This is entirely true. There will come a point where they are going to cross-pollinate features. They are already doing it. You have seen the reveals from PoE 1 to PoE 2. They are already doing it. And when I upload this video to YouTube, probably after the reveal of the season, there is going to be even more quality of life in PoE 1 that comes from PoE 2. So yes, they are going to cross-pollinate stuff. Stuff that works in Path of Exile 1, they are going to take it to PoE 2, and stuff that works in PoE 2, they are going to take it to PoE 1. And both games are going to get better because of the other game. That is going to happen, which is awesome. And again, not to talk the same shit again, but who bought PoE 2 early access keys? Most of the keys was bought by PoE players. People who bought multiple keys to give to friends and shit. Yes, you are correct. There are a lot of people like me that didn't play PoE 1 that bought keys to get into PoE 2. And that is evident by the fact that, again, it had more players than PoE 1 ever had. But probably 9 out of 10 PoE 1 players, real fans of PoE 1, probably 9 out of 10 of them bought the early access for PoE 2. Let's be honest. So yes, a big chunk of the PoE 2 launch player base came from PoE 1. So I understand, again, I said it at the start, I understand the frustration.
Tools and content that, with the right vision, could transcend the game they were made for. And here's the most important part. PoE 1 and PoE 2 aren't just cousins in the same universe. They share a client, they share an engine, they're connected in the code, even if they feel different in the hand. So the pause feature, one of the first major quality of life additions developed specifically for Path of Exile 2, can and now has been ported to PoE 1.
Exactly. Now you can tell me that at that point, PoE 2 didn't affect positively PoE 1 when you now have the pause feature, which you can't argue against the pause feature being really fucking cool and one of the best things in the fucking game, because being able to pause is huge.
It's been recently confirmed by Grinding Gear Games. Let's watch their announcement.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. This is the first of a series of videos covering quality of life improvements we're adding to Path of Exile. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, you can now pause the game at any time by pressing escape to open the menu or opening any full-screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that you cannot do this in areas that have the cannot pause debuff, which is usually reserved for Pinnacle boss content. Keep an eye on upcoming news leading up to the livestream for Secrets of the Atlas for many more quality of life improvements. Then, join us on June 5th for the livestream, where we'll deep dive into all the content in the expansion. Thanks, and see you then.
This is the first domino to fall, but it won't be the last.
And this video was released 9 days ago. And after this video was released, we have seen several other quality of life things that made it from PoE 2 to PoE 1. Like, for example, using the currency directly on the Strongbox and on the Essence and all that stuff. And there is other stuff like not losing experience on Pinnacle bosses, stuff like that. And I guarantee, because this is being recorded before the reveal for the leak for Path of Exile 1, I guarantee that we are going to get even more stuff.
Game development standpoint, this is exactly what you want to see. Asset reusability, shared tech stacks, dual purpose development. GGG didn't throw Path of Exile 1 in the trash to make PoE 2. Exactly. They invested in a future where both games could benefit. Think of it. New monster archetypes created for PoE 2. Those can now appear in PoE 1 leagues. Boss fights designed with advanced scripting in PoE 2, reused, rebalanced, injected into PoE 1's endgame. Visual effects, audio design, combat behavior, all now transferable across the two experiences. This isn't a death sentence. It's a renovation, a refresh, a revival. And it answers the questions players have been asking for over a year. Will GGG ever reinvest in PoE 1? The answer, surprisingly, is they already have.
The answer is exactly that. Yes, they are doing it right now, but I don't think it is surprising. Like, they have been saying this was going to be the case. People were just doomers. But they said that this was going to be the case.
They just did it in PoE 2's name. It's not just speculation anymore. We now have proof of concept with the pause feature. It's a quiet but systematic shift. A signpost that reads, yes, we're listening. Yes, we're adapting. Yes, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Imagine a PoE 1 league where the enemies are from PoE 2's beastery. Imagine crafting systems being enhanced by tech that PoE 2 pioneered. Imagine PoE 1 finally receiving UI love because those assets already exist in its sister title.
Again, as I said at the beginning, that is 100% going to happen. Jonathan already said in an interview that it's going to happen. I am going to find that clip from that interview where he said that, and I am going to make a video specifically talking about that because I don't hear many people saying it, and it is really important.
It's all not only possible, it's probable. This is how a game lives on without becoming obsolete. Not by clinging to the past, not by pretending the sequel doesn't exist, but by absorbing its advancements and standing taller because of them. PoE 2 doesn't need to kill PoE 1 because PoE 1 is the living proof that even in the world of ARPGs, you don't have to die to evolve. So,
dude, I love you said this, Sammy, dude. Love it. Based, by the way, based. I love that you said that because I've been promoting, and you guys know it, I've been promoting the love between the two communities. Instead, I don't want there to be two communities, one for PoE 1 and one for PoE 2. I want there to be one community, the PoE community, right? But there are sometimes some groups of people that promote this rivalry between PoE 1 and PoE 2 that it is not necessary. And they think that PoE 2 is here to kill PoE 1, that it needs to kill PoE 1, that it wants to kill PoE 1. I don't think it is like that, dude. So I agree with Sammy. Thank you for saying it. PoE 2 doesn't need to kill PoE 1, doesn't want to kill PoE 1. The perfect scenario is a symbiosis, however you pronounce it, between the two games and having a big core community for the two games that go back and forth, and we have content all year long and never stop going big dick.
let's get back to the beginning. A lot of people said Path of Exile 2 would destroy PoE 1.
Exactly.
And in a way, they weren't wrong to be afraid. Grinding Gear Games did shift all their resources. PoE 1 did sit dormant for many months.
Exactly. As we discussed earlier, it wasn't crazy to think that because, hey, dude, if you are a PoE 1 player, you had a rough year. You had a rough year, dude, and I understand you. You had a rough year. But they still said once and once again, hey, we are going to address it. We are going to address it. But the thing is that it went for so long that people started to doom, right? And I understand it.
And players were right to demand answers. But the answer is here now, in my humble opinion. And it's not a eulogy, it's a rebirth. The combat in PoE 2 can remain meaningful and punishing. That's not the difficulty that needs to change. It's the systems, the RNG, the crafting, the scarcity that have to evolve in PoE 2. And in PoE 1, those evolutions may arrive sooner than anyone thought. GGG doesn't need to choose between PoE 1 and PoE 2. They can and are building a future where one feeds the other and vice versa.
Again, I am going to say it for the third time. This is completely true because Jonathan said that there will come a point in time where Path of Exile 2 is going to be basically entirely ported back to Path of Exile 1, and you will have Path of Exile 1 but better. So yes, this is entirely true. But I do think that they internally do prefer or focus more on Path of Exile 2 because it is the new thing and they have to release the game, right? But they are not abandoning PoE 1 anytime soon. Let's say they are like 60-40, 65-35, even 70-30, but they are not abandoning Path of Exile 1.
This is not irony, that's strategy. And in hindsight, it might just be genius. If you found this perspective refreshing, insightful, or even a little optimistic, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss.
Guys, do it. Sam is awesome. I am subscribed to him, not on this account because this is a burner account, but on my main account, Yazarus, I am subscribed. Awesome. I love his videos, dude.
The next one, and join me live on Twitch every evening at Sammy Caps, where I dive deep into both PoE 1 and PoE 2,
awesome.
My favorite games. And I'm currently continuing my hardcore Maps or Bust challenge in real time. Let's talk about the future of this franchise, because just maybe, it's a lot brighter than most people think. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope to see
you guys know that I am optimistic. I think it is bright. I think everything is going to be fine. I think everything is going to be awesome. Yes, I complain a lot, but that is part of the process of evolving stuff, dude. You have to identify what is not working. And a lot of the time, doing that sounds a lot like complaining, right? But yes, Sammy, this was an awesome video, dude. I do agree with you. I think that PoE 1 is beneficial for PoE 2, but I also think that PoE 2 is beneficial for PoE 1. I think they are going to create a symbiotic relationship, and everything is going to be awesome. And I love it. Thank you very much for this video, Sammy. Awesome, dude. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Also, remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless ya. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.